Totem Pole Nation. This is Lambo's Water Sports, presented by Sideline Sports Network. And I'm trying to tell you, this is going to be one of the greatest shows on earth with Totem Pole Nation. This is Lambo Water Sports that updates you on anything football, basketball, anything that is breaking news. But today is going to be a day where I give you the update. That's why it's called Lambo's World of Sports. Now, this song was presented by DMX. Rest in peace, DMX. That's my dog. That's the instrumental. I feel really good today. But first of all, I want to talk some NFL, some NBA, and some college football. Like I said, we're in the middle of July. Today is July 15th. We are about a month away from the first NFL preseason. We're still in some NBA Summer League, and we are about 2 months away from college football. The first topic I want to talk about is Phillip Rivers, former NFL quarterback who played for the Colts and a long time for the San Diego Chargers. He is expecting a 10th child. Now, imagining Phillip Rivers having 10 kids, yes, 10 kids is very, very insane coming from a guy named Phillip Rivers. Now, his wife is Tiffany Rivers, and she has to be very gorgeous and just nice and sexy because she has to be probably the best wife in America. Now, I know there's going back and forth talking about women don't want kids or they only want a certain amount of kids, but in their instance between Phillip Rivers and Tiffany Rivers, they're expecting their 10th child. Now, I don't know how in the world Phillip Rivers was expected to have that many amount of children all through his playing careers, but that's got to be the best woman in the world. Now, Phillip Rivers is a good man. He's played football for a very long time. He's a good family man. He's respected all around the league. But Phillip Rivers welcome his 10th child. Congratulations. But also, I want to congratulate Tiffany Rivers for, you know what I'm saying, for being that woman. I just can't imagine somebody having 10 kids. But yes, they're expecting their 10th child to come right around the corner. So, yes, that is wild. And I'm shocked to hear this. No, because there was one saying that at one point, 3 years ago, I guess they had 7 children. So that's a pretty big family, the Rivers family. But congratulations to Tiffany Rivers. I'm not going to say anything explicit, but you probably made some beautiful babies. That's it on Phillip Rivers topic. Also, in the NFL, I'm going to talk about Saquon Barkley. Okay, we are about a week away from training camp. All right, a week away from training camp. And Saquon Barkley, I think, does not have a contract extension. And there's a possibility that he could be sitting out if he does not get a contract extension, I think, by the summer camp or possibly by the deadline. I don't know if the deadline is already passed or we're very close to the trade deadline. The signing deadline for like franchise tags. So I think if he plays on the franchise tag, which I don't see him playing on the franchise tag because there's no way you give Daniel Jones all the money first before Saquon Barkley, and they're calling Daniel Jones Vanilla Ice and all that other stuff, and I just don't think Daniel Jones is the real answer. The only reason the Giants were consistent last year is because of Brian Dable. They ran the ball consistently, and he made throws when it needed to be thrown. That's literally how it went, and their defense was very, very, very good when it needed to be. Now, their offense was bad against the Eagles, but the Eagles had was like top 8 in defense last year. Now, Saquon Barkley, that is a very, very, very huge thing because, like I said, Saquon Barkley is one of the top 5 running backs in the league. Yes, Saquon Barkley, he's fast, he's explosive, he does what he has to do. Saquon Barkley is looking forward to trying to be the highest paid running back in the league. I think the highest paid running back in the league right now is probably Alvin Kamara or maybe Derrick Henry, one of the two. But last year, Saquon Barkley had 295 rushing attempts, 1,312 yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns, averaging 4.4 yards per attempt, which is great. But the Giants offered Saquon Barkley a guaranteed number, but I guess he didn't like it. But they were only gonna possibly if they guarantee Saquon Barkley the money, that's only a possibility that they're gonna guarantee him to be the sixth highest paid running back in the league. Now I don't think Saquon Barkley wants to be the sixth highest paid running back in the league. I guess he wants to set the standard. Um, he has a franchise tag of $10 million on the table in hopes of a long-term deal. How much the Giants have offered isn't too encouraging for Barkley. They only offered up $19.5 million guaranteed on a long-term deal. They don't have the amount of years just yet. If the deal would be for 2 years, Barkley could actually receive more money, taking 2 years on a franchise tag of $10 million, which he can pull the Kirk Cousins, where he took 2 franchise tags for like $20 and $30 million. If Saquon Barkley would take 2 franchise tags, he would make about $20 million. And then guaranteed plus whatever the franchise tag amount is in 2024. But if the $19.5 million were to go through, that's the 6th highest paid money for a running back, which is $500,000 behind Nick Chubb, because Nick Chubb makes $20 million. Rookie Bijan Robinson, 4th in guaranteed money. He hasn't even played a game yet. He's making $21 million. The Giants also offered Barkley a $13 million per year at one point in the offseason, but he passed on the offer and he's looking to receive at least $16 million. Saquon Barkley isn't looking to reset the market, but he does, in his mind, could possibly sit out week 1 to make sure he gets his contract done, and he'll possibly miss training camp as well. He'll probably sit and he will hold out as well. He does have leverage here. He was 8-2 when Barkley rushed for 70-plus yards last season, and 7-2 when he had 100-plus scrimmage yards. And the Giants were 0-3 when Barkley rushed for less than 50 yards. Like I said, they paid Daniel Jones. Jones has 44 passing touchdowns and 17 interceptions in the games that Barkley plays, along with 91.4 passer rating. And he also has 16 touchdowns and 17 interceptions in games that Saquon Barkley does not play. And along with the stats that I just said about Saquon Barkley, he has the most rushing yards in Giants for a Giants player since Tiki Barber back in 2006, when Tom Coughlin was the head coach. Eli Manning was in his 2nd or 3rd year in the NFL and finished 7th in yards of scrimmage, 1,650 yards. The Giants are definitely a better team when Saquon Barkley is on the field. What do I think of Saquon Barkley? If the Giants don't pay the man, Saquon Barkley will sit out week 1. And for second-year head coach and Brian Daboll, I don't think that's good. So, Giants, you need to go ahead and pay Saquon Barkley. He's your man. He's consistent. When he rushes over 70 to 100 yards, y'all mostly win y'all games. Like I said, y'all mostly win y'all games. He's down on the field, y'all are not good. So that's the only reason why y'all win the playoffs, because of Saquon Barkley, not Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones made plays when it mattered. You gave that man that money. I don't think Daniel Jones is worth maybe 140, 130 million, whatever contract it was. It was like 4 years, $164 million. I don't think he's worth that much money. So that's from the NFL standpoint. Saquon Barkley needs to get paid. Please, in the Lord of Jesus, pay Saquon Barkley. I am begging the Giants to pay that man, and I think the Giants will be competitive. I think they will be back in the playoffs this year. The Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, those teams will easily compete for the playoffs. So please, Saquon Barkley, get your money, do what you have to do, and whatnot. Now, the Jets in the NFL, they have extended defensive lineman Quentin Williams to a $96 million deal that includes $66 million in guaranteed money. It's a large guarantee in franchise history, surprising the running back C.J. Mosley, who signed for $51 million as a free agent in 2019. He's only 25 years old. He has 1 year remaining on his rookie contract that he signed through the 2027 season. The Jets announced that Williams extension on Thursday, but did not disclose any terms of the deal. The extension makes Williams the NFL's second highest paid defensive tackle at $24 million per season. It surpasses Tennessee tight Jeffrey Simmons at $23.5 million. Number 2 spot behind Los Angeles Rams star Aaron Donald, who is the highest paid defensive tackle. He makes $31 million a year. Williams, $66 million guarantee, surprises Aaron Donald, who makes $65 million. Quentin Williams last year at 12 sacks, 1.7 pressures, and he has 2 forced fumbles. So his pressure percentage went up from 2019 to 2021 by 3%. Between 2019 and 2021 was at 4.8, and in 2022 was at 7.4. So this year, Quentin Williams he skipped the Jets voluntary workouts as the two sides to negotiate the deal. More than once, he expressed his frustration through social media. At one point, he did delete the Jets from his Twitter bio, changed to defensive tackle for whoever. Then he restored the Jets to his Twitter bio shortly after, he got his contract signed, which is people normally do. The Jets defense finished fourth last season in yards allowed in scoring. And I think the Jets, like I said, the Jets will be on Hard Knocks, so you will see some Quentin Williams. I think from the Jets as well. The Jets, like I said it on Life Lessons yesterday. The Jets will be 10-7. Listen to me again. I said it to Coach Troy Taylor and Coach Ball and Life Lessons podcast yesterday. You will have to tune into that. I said it's going to be a competitive AFC East division. The Jets will go 10-7. They will be 4th in the division. So you'll watch them on Hard Knocks. I think the Hard Knocks will appear August 8th or maybe August 15th on a Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on HBO Max. But yes, that's the contract extension as well. We'll see how that goes. Along with the NFL, we're talking more NFL. Joe Mixon restructures his deal to stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals, who made the AFC Championship game in the past 2 years. With head coach Zach Wilson, you have Joe Burrow, you have Jamar Chase. On Friday night, the Bengals agreed to restructure Joe Mixon's contract. Mixon had a $9.49 guaranteed base salary for the season and represented a $12.8 million cap hit against the salary cap. He's a 6-year veteran in the NFL. In 14 games this past season, Mixon rushed for 814 yards. 814 yards and 7 touchdowns. He still missed 2 games while he recovered from a concussion. His numbers dropped from what they were in his Pro Bowl season. When they went to the Super Bowl in 2021, they had 1,205 yards rushing. Mixon's cap charge for 2023 created uncertainty regarding the future with the team. At the NFL Scouting Combine in February, the general manager, Duke Totem, said it was unclear where Mixon was going to return. But after the draft in April, when the Bengals didn't take a running back until they selected running back Chase Brown out of Illinois in the 5th round, it seemed a little more solid, and, it made sense. So for Joe Mixon, he's back. The Bengals, they will be competitive. They will be back. The Bengals will be one of the top 2 teams in the AFC this year. So the Bengals, they signed Joe Mixon. They did what they had to do. It's not surprising here, but Joe Mixon's numbers will continue to get better if he's not hurt as well. So we will see how that goes. Now, I'm still going to stick to the NFL. This will probably be the last topic of the NFL before I switch to the NBA. Training camp. So training camp does start next week. Most of it starts around the 25th, maybe. So we'll see how this goes. So the teams have released the locations and reporting dates for training camp. So most training camps, I think, start around the 25th. So you have the Arizona Cardinals. Their starting date is on the 25th. The Atlanta Falcons, the reporting date, the rookies report on July 18th. And the veterans report on the 25th. The Baltimore Ravens, July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. The Buffalo Bills, Coach Troy Taylor, he's supposed to be going to Buffalo sometime soon. So the rookies for Buffalo are going to report on July 18th, and the veterans will go on July 25th. So I don't know if you're going to see Josh Allen, Coach Taylor, so you might see some of the rookies when you go to Buffalo. Carolina Panthers, the report dates for rookies July 22nd, and the veterans July 25th. The Chicago Bears rookies will report July 22nd, and the veterans will report July 25th. Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a little bit different. They will report the training camp for the rookies on July 19th, and the veterans will go July 21st. Cleveland Browns will do the same thing. Rookies on July 19th, and veterans on July 21st. The Dallas Cowboys, they're reporting everybody on July 25th. The Denver Broncos, reporting dates will be on July 19th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. The Detroit Lions, who was on Hard Knocks last year, they made things very, very interesting. The reporting dates for the rookies is July 19th and July 22nd for the veterans. The Detroit Lions had a winning record of 9-8 last year, I think for the first time since 2016, since Jim Caldwell became the head coach. Green Bay Packers, the reporting dates will be July 21st for the rookies and injured players, and then July 25th for the veterans. The Green Bay Packers will be somewhat interesting because you have Jordan Love at QB. We'll see how that goes. No Aaron Rodgers. That will be something very special. It's very interesting to look at. The Houston Texans reported training camp July 25th. The Indianapolis Colts reported training camp July 26th. I talked this with Coach Taylor on Life Lessons podcast yesterday. He told me something about is Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. I'm not sure how good Anthony Richardson will be. I'm not even sure if he will win the starting job. We'll see how that goes. Jacksonville Jaguars, you have second-year head coach Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence, the rookies will report, QB's rookies will report July 21st. The veterans will report July 25th. The defending Super Bowl champions and the Kansas City Chiefs will report July 18th for the rookies and July 22nd for the veterans. The Las Vegas Raiders, second-year head coach Josh McDaniels. You have a new quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. The Raiders do somewhat expect to be competitive. You have July 20th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. The Los Angeles Chargers, July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. Now, it's Brandon Staley on the hot seat. He's in his third year. You have Justin Herbert, who has been consistent. He passed for about 4,000 yards within the past 3 years. But the Chargers had the worst playoff collapse in history where they're up 27-0 against Jacksonville, and they lost. I think it was like 30-27 or 33-30. So it's pretty tough. Los Angeles Rams, they're coming back. Sean McVay is coming back. They report training camp on July 25th. They're coming back strong. They should be impressive. They should make the playoffs after having a first losing season. They went 5-12. They had Baker Mayfield as the starting quarterback. They had injuries to Matthew Stafford. Team fell apart. So it was not good at all. Miami Dolphins under second-year head coach Mike McDaniel. They report on July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. Is Tua going to turn the ball over, or is the Miami Dolphins, are they going to win a playoff game for the first time since a long time? I think for the first time maybe since 2008 when they had Tony Sparano, the head coach. The Minnesota Vikings. If you watch the series Quarterback, it's a quarterback series on NFL Netflix that features Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, and Patrick Mahomes. They're reporting dates for the Minnesota Vikings July 23rd for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. Minnesota Vikings will come back. They did fire the defensive coordinator this past offseason. The defense was very suspect, but the Minnesota Vikings did win 13 games last year. So I think Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins, they're going to make the playoffs. The question is, are they going to actually win a Super Bowl or win more than one playoff game? That's going to be the question. My New England Patriots will report for the rookies July 21st and July 25th. For the veterans, New England Patriots, like I said, they're going to be 12-5. We're going to compete, and we're going to win the Super Bowl. New Orleans Saints, you have 30-year head coach in Dennis Allen, or maybe second year. They report July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. New York Giants, they go July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. The deal, like I said earlier in the show, Saquon Barkley, you're going to pay the man or is he going to sit week one? And how good is Daniel Jones after he signs that contract? The New York Jets, they report the training camp on July 19th. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers report the training camp on July 26th. The Philadelphia Eagles will report the training camp on July 25th. They competed for a Super Bowl last year. They lost by 3 points. Jalen Hurts will be back better than ever. Jalen Hurts is a top 5, probably top 1 best quarterbacks in the NFC. I'm going to pick Jalen Hurts. The San Francisco 49ers report the training camp on July 18th for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. San Francisco 49ers made it to the NFC Championship game last year after they lost to the Eagles. Brock Purdy hurt his elbow. I think the 49ers had a chance to go to the Super Bowl last year and possibly beat the Chiefs. But I think the 49ers, I do see the 49ers back in the NFC Championship game this year. Seattle Seahawks reported training camp July 25th. Geno Smith, they made a playoff run last year. A very surprising Seattle Seahawks team. They were very slept on, but they made the playoffs. We'll see how that goes with that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you have a new quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. I'm not sure. They might be competing with Kyle Trask as well. You got second-year head coach Todd Bowles. The rookies report July 24th, and then the veterans report July 25th. Tennessee Titans, they go to training camp July 22nd for the rookies and July 25th for the veterans. The question is, will Malik Willis make the team? I'm not sure. It depends on the injuries of the quarterback spot. How many quarterbacks do you carry along the draft? You only got 3 preseason games, so training camp, I think, is cut pretty short. Washington Commanders, they reported training camp on July 21st for the rookies and then July 25th for the veterans. So for the Commanders, who is their quarterback? Is it going to be Sam Howell? Is it going to be somebody else? They got to do GM. No Daniel Snyder. You have Ron Rivera's in his 4th year. I think he's on a hot seat if they don't somewhat make the playoffs or maybe win a playoff game. So that's going to be it for the NFL. That is very, very updated. That's all the information that I have for the NFL. It's a lot of things. We will see how that goes with the NFL. With the NBA, not so much in there. You have the Bulls get $10.2 million disabled player exception for Lonzo Ball. I said this earlier when I started Lambo's Water Sports about Lonzo Ball that he was not going to play this past season. He got a $10.2 million player exception because the season-ending injury to Lonzo Ball. The club applied for exception last week. The exception, this is what it means. The exception allows a team to replace a player who was out the whole season. The Bulls will be allowed to trade or claim a player only in the final year of the contract or sign a free agent to one deal. The vice president of the Bulls, Arturas Karvanis, said that on the draft night that the team did not expect Lonzo Ball to even play. He has not played since January 2022 to return to the upcoming season. Ball underwent cartilage transplant surgery in March. So, for the Bulls, I already said it. I predict the future. Lonzo Ball is not going to play this year. He has not played in 2 years. So, is it surprising to you? No. But at the same time, we will see how that goes with the Lonzo Ball situation. I don't think he will be a Chicago Bull for any time longer than, like I said. So we'll see how that goes as far as the Bulls. Also, something in NBA, former 3-time NBA champion Dwayne Wade is joining ownership. Okay, ownership for the WNBA Chicago Sky. I think it's very interesting how players, when they retire, some of them go broke. But I think at the same time, Dwayne Wade's been smart with his finances and his money. I think he was part ownership for the Utah Jazz at one point. I don't know if he still is part of that or not. He might still be. I think he still is for the Utah Jazz. But now he's joining part ownership for the WNBA Chicago Sky, becoming the latest, highest profile figure to invest in the league at a pivotal juncture in a 27-year history. So it's a great for Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's investments is subject to approval from the WNBA's Board of Governors. His exact ownership percentages will not be disclosed, but he has made an impact in business in really significant way that are abiding and authentic and true. And that's what they are in Chicago Sky. Sky co-owner told ESPN, and so did the fact that he can help us be a part of the industry. So now, Dwayne Wade has been made multiple entries in the WNBA. Um, Last month, he was visiting the Chicago Sky practice in Deerfield, Illinois. He had interactions with the team that earned wave reviews from players as well. There's Michael Alter, who first bought the team, the Chicago Sky, and the WNBA in 2006. He still remains the principal owner, but this isn't the first pro sports ownership endeavor for Wade. Like I said, he retired from the NBA in 2019, and he does have ownership for the Utah Jazz, like I said, but also he has ownership from the MLS Soccer, Real Salt Lake. And when it comes to the Sky, he said the partnership just makes sense. And I think the reason behind it of why is somewhat, makes sense as well, because he's a Chicago native who went to high school in the suburb of Oak On, and credits his mother for introducing him to the team and talking to him about the game. And his mother was a fan of Chicago Sky before, Dwayne Wade became a friend as well, or a fan. And then also, Dwayne Wade has a pre-existing friendship with former head coach, general manager James Wade, and said that the team is frequently supported his camps in Chicago. So this is not surprising for Dwayne Wade. He's doing what he has to do as well, getting the ownership, doing what he has to do. But getting the ownership part is not surprising as well. Still going to talking about the NBA. Wemby has been shut down for the summer league. I think it's due to he has another injury, and they're talking about Wemby's going to be the next Tim Duncan. I'm not really sure about how good he's going to be. I'm not surprised. I got to see if Wemby's going to put some size on this man or not, but we'll see how that goes with Wemby. It's not really much to say because he's only played 2 games. So Wemby, he's tall. He's like 7'1", very skinny, like Kevin Durant type. So we'll see how that goes with Wemby. Hope he stays healthy. Like I said, I don't think the Spurs are going to win that many games this year. So we will see how that goes along those lines. Now, we're going to go to college football. So now, head coach Josh Heupel took over the coaching job in Knoxville in January of 2021. There was uncertainty of the NCAA sanctions hanging over the program for 2.5 years. It was a huge relief that they did not get a punishment that included a bowl ban, and he was very excited about it. So the Tennessee punishment included an $8 million fine for the school, which is believed to be NCAA record, as well as scholarship losses and reduction in visits and limits on recruiting contracts. Former coach Jeremy Pruitt, who was the head coach, ran into the program while the violations occurred, received a 6-year show clause, and the school is going to have to vacate some of his wins from his time taking over. But for the program, Tennessee, they're coming off an 11-2 season and a good Orange Bowl victory over Clemson. The lack of punishment for current players was viewed by Heupel in a huge victory. So the lack of a bowl ban continues a trend in the infractions process of not punishing current players who are not involved when the sanction conduct had occurred. Here's the logic thinking about this. How are you going to punish innocent people and innocent kids is what Josh Heupel said. I'm certainly pleased with the outcome for the people, and it's the right decision. Also, there's things along those lines. So I think with this, the punishment that they deserve, I think is the correct way, because you do not want to punish these guys that were involved in the scandals as well. They are able to take a step forward and talk to the team. And according to the head coach, the staff and the recruits that stay here, this is what it is, the impact of how they're going to be able to move forward. Tennessee has already self-imposed 18 scholarships, a number that covers the past 2 seasons. And the upcoming one, the program has taken similar measures with official visits home games, hosting recruits, and evaluation days as well. So with Tennessee, they will be eligible to play for a bowl this year. After Jeremy Pruitt, I think he was there for like maybe 5 seasons and had a lot of violations, recruiting violations as well. So we'll see how that necessarily goes with that situation. Also with college football. All right. I'm gonna mention something about Alabama. Um, Alabama, I think, will be back. Alabama will win a championship as well, and we will see how that goes. Alabama, I know they were 10-2 last year. They lost to LSU. They lost to Tennessee. That was the final play of the game. A lot of people saying Alabama isn't back after Georgia went back and won two back-to-back national championships, which is hard. It is not very easy at all. But also at the same time, we will see how Alabama is. I think Alabama will be back. They will compete for the college playoff. Like I said, it's still 4 teams this year until 2024, where it'll be a 12 bracket playoff spot um, as well. So my top teams are in the SEC going to be Georgia, they're going to be Alabama, and they're going to be Tennessee as well. So we'll see how that goes as well. Now, a lot of allegations with Northwestern football. Then they fired the baseball coach after the head coach of football got fired. Um, Northwestern interim head coach is David Braun. He is going to be named the interim head coach for 2023. He was served as the interim head coach after the firing of Pat Fitzgerald and the hazing allegations of Northwestern. So, as he said, the opportunity to lead a team at a crucial moment in history is not something he will take for granted. The focus today and every day moving forward is on supporting the men who have only been on campus for several weeks in their preparation for the 2023 football season and the 2023 to 2024 academic year. Northwestern did hire Braun as defensive coordinator in January, which means he arrived after the hazing investigation was already initiated. He was a defensive coordinator who came from North Dakota State, where he was the FCC Coordinator of the Year in 2021, and during his 4 seasons at North Dakota State, he served as a coordinator and a defensive play caller, and he has won 2 national championships. Braun's first task will be preserving the Northwestern roster, as many players as parents are upset after handling of Pat Fitzgerald's departure. Northwestern players have a window of nearly four more weeks in which they can transfer without any penalty. At the meeting earlier with Northwestern players expressed the university president Michael Schill and athletic director Derek Gregg that they wanted clarity on the program's future and continually in coaching staff. Braun has essentially been operating as a head coach since Fitzgerald's firing on Monday. Players had expressed in a team meeting that naming Braun as interim head coach would help give them some clarity and continually they were seeking. Northwestern fired defensive coordinator Jim O'Neil in November as part of a staff shakeup after they went 1-11 this past season. This is Braun's first season in FBS football as he worked at North Dakota State, Northern Iowa, USC Davis, Winona State, and Culver Stockton. So for this is going in the right direction for Northwestern football program. You hire this guy, he will change the program around. Now, the question is, I don't know how good Northwestern would be. Thank God that my main man, Robbie Barron's out of Northwestern. I don't know if he knows anything about football allegations or not. He's kind of quiet. He's kind of to himself. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't think Northwestern will be the same program. But I know the basketball program does not involve any type of hazing as well. I guess it's just the football and the baseball team. So we will see how that goes. I'm not sure if Northwestern will be any somewhat good at football at all. So with this new coach in Braun, his first season, I'm not sure because I think everybody's going to transfer out of Northwestern. There's still a pending investigation going on with the hazing, and I think more things will definitely come out of the shadow as well, and we'll see how that goes. The last topic we're going to talk about today for Lambo's Water Sports is we're going to be talking about Michigan and Ohio State. Now, Michigan has beat Ohio State twice in the past year, and I know there's a lot of fans talking about, Ohio State, they need to go ahead and fire Ryan Day. Now, Ohio State, they went to the college playoff. They lost to Georgia by 1 point. It was 42-41. They missed a field goal, which was basically wide left and whatnot. But Ohio State fans, calm down. You're not going to fire Ryan Day. The man's 45-6. I mean, you're not going to fire a coach that won 45 games and 6 losses. Like, come on, dude. I mean, he's coaching 51 games. He's went back-to-back Big Ten championships. I think it was in 2019 and 2020 as well. He made the college football. He won a bowl game, I think, in 2021, the Sugar Bowl. I mean, Ryan Day's a good coach. Now, the question between Michigan still has J.J. McCarthy. They still had the same thing they had last year after they lost to TCU last year. I think it was 51-45. That was a very, very good game. The question is, they brought all their guys back. They got Blake Corum back. J.J. McCarthy's back. Their wide receivers back as well. For Michigan, can they beat Ohio State? Now, as right now, we don't know who the quarterback is for Ohio State. But for Michigan, they still have J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is a very consistent thrower. Michigan runs the ball a lot, but J.J. McCarthy is a very consistent quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. But I think in my world, I think that Michigan will probably beat Ohio State for the third time this year. I think it happens. I think Ohio State somewhat goes undefeated. Like always, they're going to go undefeated until they go to Michigan and lose. Now, Ohio State, Ryan Day is going to be successful. They lost Smith-Njigba to the draft. They lost other guys to the draft as well. C.J. Stroud to the draft as well. So we'll see how Ohio State is. I think Ohio State will be 11-1 this year with the loss to Michigan. I think Michigan goes somewhat undefeated, and I'm not sure if they will win a national championship, but I think Michigan will go undefeated. So this is it at Lambo's World of Sports. It's called Lambo's World. This is it for Lambo's World of Sports, presented by Sideline Sports Network. All the information will be updated. Don't forget to check out Lambo's World of Sports, presented by Sideline Sports Network. Don't forget to check out the recent content on Totem Nation. Don't forget to check out the recent videos, episodes that has happened. Don't forget to check out the Life Lessons podcast featuring Coach Ball and Coach Taylor. And also, I do join the Life Lessons podcast as well. And don't forget to check out the CFC Clinic. The CFC Clinic is sponsored by Coach Troy Taylor, who has made over 185 videos of content. And I'm trying to tell you, our new sponsor, yes, our new sponsor as well that we got as well, is the Sideline Design. It's very good. It's one of the best. Sideline Design, you've done something special. We'll see how that goes. But Totem Pole Nation,